time for a stay-at-home mom reaction. I'm back. It's my third one this week, final one. I'll see you guys next week with a whole new batch of them. 1Sidemen, like promised. But before I begin, I'll spare you. I'll make it snappy. I'll make the chit-chat on the minimum. I'll stop being such a girl and catch you up and reintroduce myself like I have been in every single one of these. So here's a little bit about me. And let's move on. So I found a video I thought would be very challenging enough for someone who's so scared of speaking out on politics, but has a lot to say. I do have a lot to say about it, but I don't know. I don't ever have the crowd, but I found my crowd, so here I am. All right, let's minimize me. Dun, 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 dun. Drum roll, like always. But how should I size myself here? Is that enough? Is that enough, y'all? Put on the headset. Put the headset here. Put the headset there. Everywhere. Oh my god, too many nursery songs. Which I hope you managed to read in that little thing I provided you guys with. Just to stop wasting everyone's precious time. All right. So, yes, we're watching 1Conservative versus 20 Feminists, featuring the one and only Candace Owens. I love her. I came across her on TikTok, and I was like, shit, she's so real. She makes so much sense. Finally, amongst all the LGBTQ, crazy toxic feminism, BLM, everything that is so distracting from the facts, from the dumpster fire of North America. She was, I guess, the fire in me to be more confident where I stand. And she also kind of helped me go back to God. I like trailed off a little bit after living in Dubai and a few other things. They kind of like set me off path. But I think she's one of the people that set me straight back on. So yeah, thank you, Candace Owens. If you're watching this, I owe it to you. You played a part in it for sure. Okay, so I also like her because obviously she's Black and she isn't brainwashed. She thinks for herself. Like, she is such a threat. To me, in America, when you're Black and conservative, you are such a weapon. So, like, you are not fooled, not brainwashed, thinking for yourself, and you're a trailblazer because it's usually unusual, and I find people gang up on Black men and Black women when they have a conservative mindset. Because I don't know who's telling who this, the liberals, like who's telling the liberals that being conservative means you're white and racist. It's so far from the truth. Like, I don't know who made this up, but I have, okay, you guys know I don't have like real physical friends, but people I've met at work, people I've known since I was in high school who are Black, and they're even more conservative than me, or they're in the position where they teach me so much about conservative views and whatever else, But they think we should go a little more extreme than conservative here in Canada. Like, we should take it up a notch. Like, being conservative in Canada is not enough at this point. So, yeah, that's my take. And that's why I love Candace, because, yeah, she's being sued for her opinions, but she's not soft. Like, she stands her guard, her beliefs, like, God is with her. She trusts God, and that's all she needs. That's her support. That's how she stays strong. So I love Candace Owens. Like, I am with her 100% on everything that she stands for, every opinion. So if that's not you, you can leave. Like, if you're not gonna, like, I just want to spare your time. You're more than welcome to stay, but this won't be, you'll get mad at a lot of my reactions, and yeah, I don't want that for you. Have a good day. Anyways, let's begin.
Capacity within the workforce. Women, they don't want to stay at home when you pull them. They just want flexible working hours and flexible working conditions like you have. And I think we should all advocate for that. It's not one or the other. But when you sit here and you go, you'll be more fulfilled doing this, then spend all your time doing that. We would love for you to leave the public eye and go focus on what makes you fulfilled. Okay.
That was so mean. Not very feminist.
Hi, my name is Candace Owens. I am a podcaster,
I love you.
mother, a wife, and also the author of the upcoming book, Make Him a Sandwich. And today I am surrounded by 20 feminists.
It's 2 conservatives against 20. Okay, I'm your backup, Candace.
My first claim is that the sexual revolution has devalued women and made them infinitely less happy.
I think a lot of women are doing things they think men like, but it's all short term.
Hello.
Hi.
Can I just already say from these snippets, Candace is the most glowing and most beautiful girl in the room. That's true feminist to me right there. A girl who takes care of herself isn't ruining her appeal.
I'm Samaya.
Samaya, nice to meet you. I'm Candace.
Nice to meet you,
She's
too.
so cute.
My question for you is, statistics show that 60% of women who are murdered by their intimate partners, murdered by someone that they are in close relations with. That's according to the UN from 2023.
Yeah.
So how is it that, women are so valued, quote unquote, in the home, and yet that's the place where they're at the most danger?
Okay, so I'm not sure what that has to do with the sexual revolution.
Right, the sexual revolution.
The first claim.
The sexual revolution gave.
I'm happy to answer it. I'm just saying that, if you broaden that statistic, you are more likely in general just to be murdered by somebody you know. So, of course.
But men are much less likely to be murdered by, their
That's not
partners.
true.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm sure, because men are less likely to be murdered by women. Full stop. Yeah, exactly. So that statistic makes sense to me. I'm still not sure how this correlates to whether or not the sexual revolution
increased women's ability to leave the house, women's ability to control their own reproductive capabilities, women's ability to, control their own capacity within the workforce in regards to their own sexual capacity. So it is the very fact that the sexual revolution happened that made our access to the workplace much more, or just the public sphere in general, much more easy. So, without the sexual revolution, women would be much more...
This girl's cute. Going back to my earlier comment, she's still cute. A cute feminist.
...confined to the place where they're at the most danger. Isn't that true?
So you think that, just so I'm trying to understand your argument here, you think that if we didn't have the sexual revolution, less women or more women would be murdered? Are you saying that women are
More women would be murdered, for sure.
Okay, I disagree with that. I still don't think it has anything to do with the claim that women are infinitely less happy because of the sexual revolution, which has devalued women.
I think you'd probably be less happy if you're being murdered.
Oh.
Anyone disagree?
Okay, yeah, I don't, okay. Okay. There is definitely a correlation between personal relationships and domestic violence. And just to be clear,
Right.
if we're talking about just like a monogamous relationships, the most violent relationships that are on the books are between lesbian partners. Yes, when people are intimate,
That's not a true
that is actually
statistic.
true.
No, the statistic you're talking about is people
A survey from 2013 shows 61%.
who have faced domestic violence. Lesbians, yes, are more likely to have faced domestic violence, but that's because they typically came from relationships with men in which they were mistreated.
Lesbian relationships are the most violent relationships that we have on the books.
But we can move
Statistically,
on.
they can fact check that claim. The point being is that it's not exactly a stunning statistic.
I'm not a lesbian, but I've been in a little bit of a cat fight. I don't think it was a fight. I think it was more like a cat hiss between me and my best friend in grade 7. She slapped me out of nowhere in the hallway outside our classroom. I don't know why in our friendship, if she got like excited over a guy like signing in on MSN, she would pinch me. And then the slap in the hallway, I cannot tell you why it happened, but at that time I got so fed up with the pinching and the little shoulder slaps that she would do that I backhanded her so bad. Is that back? Yeah. And then my one friend who was in the hallway was like, oh my God, like, freaking out that I finally hit her back. So I believe this totally.
To say that when people are in relationships,
we were
period,
just
whether
friends.
those relationships are homosexual, whether they're
But
married,
you're
whether
saying that the sexual revolution...
Let me finish. I've let you try to explain how this is correlated to happiness, and I don't think it does. I actually think you're having a different debate right now. But
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It makes perfect sense that you are more likely in general when you are in a relationship, because people are driven by anger by people that they know, whether or not we're talking about boyfriend and girlfriend, a husband and a wife, a husband and a husband, or a wife and a wife. Yes, of course, the instances of domestic violence are going to take place when you're inside of a home. But the sexual revolution, encouraging women to give up their goods for free, which is what I'm speaking about, and encouraging men not to marry these women or to have long-term relationships, what I am saying is a direct contributor to their unhappiness, because women are giving up their goods for free, and women are now entering.
Because a lot of women think that's what men want.
During the workplace, and that does not actually make them.
Men do want that, but if they want something real, both sides, you gotta keep it real.
Happy.
Okay, pause. Sorry, you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
The whole family can now treat freely with Yogo frozen yogurt.
You don't have to make feet content.
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you? I'm Candace.
Nice to meet nice.
I'm waiting for one of the feminists to like punch each other out. Like not one of them have been like, sorry.
To meet you. Julian, my pronouns are they, them. It's very interesting to think of it when we just think about the gender binary. How do we place value on human?
The only time they, them is applicable is when you're pregnant with multiples. That was an inside joke at my workplace when I was pregnant with twins. One guy, I walked up to my station position and he was like, guys, this is like the perfect time. This is the only time we can refer to someone as they, them. Oh my God, we laughed so hard.
Beings in general. And so when we think about, placing value, that comes from a place of power, right? So I think let's select the Victorian era. You have this
I do like that she's gentle. She's not loud and aggressive. So I condone her. Is that the word? English is my second language. They. This is what I like about them. I'm just playing along with them. They're being gentle. And there I can start respecting them.
A group of people coming from white supremacy, deciding who gets to have a proper status in the world. And so that is already taking human beings and devaluing them. And so what the sexual revolution did was to help people seek out empowerment, which increased value, no matter the gender. So when it comes to sexual revolution, let's look at one contribution is sex education. I'm actually an educator. I teach sociology and LGBTQ studies. And I have absolutely seen the positive outcome with the sexual revolution and sex education and seen people empower themselves.
Candace was like, WTF?
And with that comes safety when it comes to decreasing STIs, abuse, sexual assault. Again, people get to empower themselves of all genders. And I know earlier you mentioned about violence amongst lesbians and sapphic community, which I do identify within. All genders can be subjected to violence.
That was the point I was making. So I wasn't sure of how her claim was relating to what we were talking about, whether or not it makes people happy or unhappy. Relationships are obviously a ground where there can be violence.
I guess I could just wrap it up by saying, like, if we all have access to like sex education through the incredible work of feminists through the sexual revolution, we are able to gain access to information and gain.
Oh, she's so nervous. But I love that she's nervous and it doesn't matter. Like, my voice is shaking, but I'm still saying it. So I applaud her for that. Them.
To create an equitable society, egalitarian within our relationships, whether it be platonic or romantic. I'm so grateful for those feminists who have fought for us so we can gain those spaces and create a healthier society.
Okay, are you a believer in the government doing everything that it can to make people happy?
So when it comes, as someone that teaches in the public sector, I understand the concern when it comes to like, what is a teacher, what kind of information they're providing to the students. I do believe that we, as a teacher, I should be able to give that sort of information. Again, I teach college students. One of my claims is I believe that we should mandate sex education amongst college students. So yes, I do want the state, I would like the government to give us those reasons.
Why the fuck is this important? Like, I understand in high school when everyone's, like, if I'm understanding this right, everyone's hitting puberty. They've seen enough television, movies, that it's already sprouted in their minds that let's get physical, I understand there, but college, you're already an adult. Like, why is that mandated? I understand teaching, I'm not saying teaching high schoolers sexuality like the LGBTQ community is expecting. I'm talking about old school sexuality, like protect yourselves, don't spread STDs, stick to one partner,
Sources so we can
be abstinent.
Implement that curriculum.
Okay, are you consider yourself a feminist, I'm assuming?
Queer feminist. There's variations, right?
What is a queer feminist as opposed to a feminist, just so I understand?
Well, so I heavily believe in queer theory. So
she's like hurting. She's like,
the gender binary that we understand, it comes from colonization. So someone who is mixed race, family from Mexico, we have the Muxés in Mexico, which is an indigenous tribe. They believed in gender fluidity. And then you have European colonizers coming who dismantle that. And now everything that we understand when it comes to gender is a Western lens. So from a queer...
So you don't even think women exist, I'm guessing.
I think everyone should be empowered to figure out their identity and explore the language that best describes themselves. So freedom, America, right? America, freedom. And I want to believe in that when it comes to identity. Right. Everyone should have the freedom to decide how they want to identify, as long as they're not causing harm. But that's where we get into the debate, what is harm?
But like, we're being taught these new identities. I'm gonna observe my boys, but I didn't grow up knowing all these other identities that have come up in my 34th year of living. So like, what do you mean explore?
So just, again, to be clear, to go back to this claim, we are debating female happiness. Mm-hmm. You are saying you do not identify as a female.
I identify with all gender expressions, so from masculinity to femininity. So
I'm just saying, are you just saying that as a part of queer theory, you're debating whether or not women are happier after the sexual revolution? I'm just trying to understand, because it seems like you're debating queer theory as opposed to female.
I believe all genders benefit from the sexual revolution.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
But isn't she... But that's irrelevant. She's talking about women benefiting from sexual revolution.
Hello.
I'm Zena.
Zena, very much like your name.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Can we start with the beginning? Do you identify as a female?
I identify as a woman, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I do want to get back to your premise. You're saying that women have been devalued, right, by the sexual revolution. This kind of presumes two things. One, that there has been a loss of worth, right, for women. So you're saying that women have, as human beings, lost.
I'm sorry, but like you hook up with a guy, he disappears, you feel empty, you feel lonely, you feel like you've made a mistake. Like, why are we burying those down and pretending like that we're not upset? You move on to the next guy trying to cope with the last. Like, it's a hot mess. Like, there's such a simple solution there. Like, don't jump flower to flower. If that's what they're referring to, like having casual sex. Again, I'm very new at this, politics and whatever, but that's my understanding. And I definitely think it's devaluing women because they are thinking less of themselves and trying to fill this void that they're creating. Like, no one's gonna feel good after casually having sex with a guy and just never seeing them again. It's not a good feeling.
Lost worth. Women who, prior to their sexual revolution, were worth more than women today.
I would say that, yes, women have devalued themselves by becoming overtly
According to
sexual. That's my claim. So, I mean, also according to just, and let's not remove this from the other part of the claim, which that it has made women infinitely less happy.
Right. So are you saying, but you're saying that.
Because long term, the women admit that they're looking for the right guy, like the guy. And they're being ghosted. They're being two-timed. But like there's a reason. You know, like you're not serious to the guy. You might be saying like, look, I want a family, I want to have babies, but your actions speak louder than words to guys. And guys from first second are already looking at it logically, not emotionally like we are. Like, I'm telling you, girls are sleeping with men based on emotion because they think that's what men want from them. They're going to give it to them. I'm going to let them talk.
According to you, women have been devalued.
Not according to me. According to the time and people to find a partner that's willing to commit to them, and I think that's the fact that women are offering sex for free because it was a major component of the sexual revolution was this idea.
So a woman's worth is tied to her sexuality.
It's not tied to, well, absolutely. If you're going to be having multiple partners, you are going to be devaluing yourself.
You're worth less as a human being.
Not as a human being, just, in terms of trying to have a partnership and a productive relationship, certainly men are not going to be clamoring to have a relationship with somebody when the market is throwing them.
This is going to be funny that a woman is going to speak for a man. I know Candace is, but she's the married woman. She found success in that department. Her theory worked. And now this, I don't know her status, but she's going to tell her that men don't want to date or don't find value in women who have devalued themselves.
A man's response to your actions is what defines.
Again, there are guys out there when they fall in love madly fall in love, there's nothing that can turn them off. This is true.
Find your worth, right?
Yeah, well, I would say that I would argue that what makes women actually happy is family. So if you're interrupting, so just to connect the dots for you, when
it is such a propaganda. Like Ellie McClung, if I could just find her grave and just find it and figure out what after. Thank her very kindly. I don't understand how she managed to swoon us and make us think it's a good idea to get taxed. That's essentially it. I think they just wanted to tax more people, and that's how we joined the workforce. And then it just went downhill from there. You're adding equality. Now women are working just as much as men. And in my previous videos, I've never worked a job where a guy was being paid more because he was a guy than me. No, we still had the same jobs, tasks, paid the same. If he was there longer, okay, it was based on that, but not because he was male and I was female. No. And I believe that guys actually work sometimes for us women because we can't manage something heavy, or I don't know, I felt protected by guys at work too. If there was ever a dodgy situation, they were protecting me. So yeah, like they freaking deserve higher pay if anything. And I talked about that as well. Like, I'm not gonna get into it now, go back to my other videos, but yeah, I'm not gonna trail off too much, but I would be happy if I didn't have to work ever. Like I said it every day, I'm like, I will be so happy if we can just, stay at home, shred the sheep wool, knit, clean, fold laundry. And I finally got it as a stay-at-home mom. That's all I wanted, and I've never been happier, and I've never felt more important and significant. Like, I'm actually making an impact in 2 lives.
Women are having sex with multiple partners. It devalues them for men, right?
For men. So,
yes. So
men define a woman's worth.
Well, I would say both of them kind of define one another.
Well, I told you guys that I kind of fell off the pathway, and yeah, it didn't feel good to me at all. Like, I don't know if it was my upbringing, my morals, my Catholic background, but not that I was like, whoo, party girl, like, devaluing myself, but it was already enough that I was doing that to feel like it doesn't feel good to me. I would always reflect, like, what does she have that I don't? How did she get married? What does she do? Like, there's obviously something lacking in me, and it's because I was living the revolutionary lifestyle that you see everywhere.
Others' worth, because I think the ultimate goal for people to be happy is actually family.
Okay, so you're saying
Not work.
in all cases, a woman is going to be more fulfilled in regards to family.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Because we're leading the family. Like, sure, the man is the head of the family, but we're the neck. We tell them where to turn. Like, we play such an important role in the family. And I think modern men today make us feel that better than any man in previous generations. Like, have you seen modern men? They love being fathers. They want to be. Every interview you see with a Hollywood star, Danny McBride, Adam Levine, all these comedians, I love watching them. They're amazing. Who else said it? Many of them, they want to be present. Even my husband, when he has a day off, comes back from work, first thing is he wants to see his boys. He sits down with them, plays with them, and he starts taking on my role. And I'm like, whoa, what am I gonna do? Stay in your yard.
This is going to work in all cases. You're saying there's no individual case in which a woman can feel, fulfilled without being tied to other people in the case of family?
I think there could be an exceptional case for everything. I think there are exceptional cases, but I think that if we all start trying to be the exception as opposed to recognizing the rule, which is that people in life are more fulfilled when they achieve a family unit and when they have children, women in particular, especially aspiring to children.
All my single friends tell me they wish they had what I had. They're very successful in schooling, have amazing jobs. It's a trade-off. Like I never aspired to be like CEO. Okay, maybe. But I never had this goal of like, oh, I want to go up the ladder. No, I wanted to get married, have kids. I got distracted. I revolutionized a little bit, felt the worst ever, but I found it. And everyone's writing me like, I want to have kids someday. These successful women. So they don't want to sit under freaking luminous lights and address to some guy like they don't love.
Children, then you are going to end up with a bunch of people who are unhappy because your job cannot replace the feeling of having a family.
So what you're saying is we need to look at every individual case and see what is going to fulfill you or what is going to, I guess, essentially predict your happiness more. Because if we look at, for example, the Nordic countries, right? These are countries, I'm talking about like Sweden, Denmark, right? These countries tend to be like, I think in the past 14 years, they've been ranked as the highest in happiness and marital satisfaction from women, right? And we see that they also have been the most open in regards to like, you know, sexual norms and you know, sexual roles, right? So, and we also see that there's less rates of like STDs reported. We see more, and that's also due to comprehensive sex education that's pushed in those countries. So we see that when
I was on Tinder in the Nordic countries and holy, that thing was lit. I've never had so many matches. But I was doing it for clout. Like I was on Instagram to just get follows. And I was just like, yep. I will admit that this was during my Emirates days. But geez, every match. It was every match. And actively writing me. I didn't respond. But yeah, they're very happy there.
And that's like a direct result of the sexual revolution, right? So when we're seeing that direct reports of happiness, right, we don't have these same rates in America. In these countries that are more sexually open, why would we see like those rates in those type of countries?
So I think you might be referring to this sort of mass-produced study that was a part of like a behavioral science study, which said that women were the happiest women in the world were women that were actually unmarried and had careers. No, okay, well there was
reported happiness.
Okay, sure. I'm talking about the same thing. It was reported happiness, but it could be there's tons of studies. The point being is that in 2023, there was this massive scandal where they recognize that a lot of these studies that were being produced, behavioral science, was proven to be a complete fraud. And they were unable to reproduce these studies, and they also found—
You can't trust anyone. I only trust my gut, honestly.
That the data had been faked. The data that we can look at that I think shows, and you can let me know if you agree with this, if women, and under the imagination of the feminist umbrella, were really unhappy when they were in the home, and then entering the workforce has made women happier and—
I believe there are women out there who don't want kids, my sisters, and I see it on Facebook all the time where they're like, oh my God, going back to work is the only thing that made me feel human again. Okay, I feel like those women never wanted children to begin with. Like, there are women like that, for sure. But like with everything, I think there's a lot that are convinced, brainwashed. Like there's always going to be a percentage, but not as high as it is.
Definitely feeling more secure about themselves, we could, I think, reasonably expect that there would have been a decrease in suicide rates amongst women.
You would have to go ahead and show how that correlation, right, is going to be a direct cause of women going into the workforce.
Okay, well, how can we, let's measure, then you have to give me a way that we can measure happiness. How can we measure happiness? So I would say suicide rates would be a good thing to look at. Drug, alcohol consumption would be a good thing to look at.
Of course, right, but we would have to, I can say at this point in society, I don't think everyone is happy. I think there's a lot of things that we need to reconcile to
Okay,
society.
that's what I'm
right?
getting at. So
Right,
I
but
think
we have to
women are-
look at the cause, right? Why are these things predicted, right? And for example, if we talk about men, there are a lot of things we can look at, right? That tend to predetermine suicide, right? But we can't say, oh, these two things are happening at the same time. This caused this other thing.
Yes, that's right. But I do think that we can objectively say that women who are committing suicide rates more than they were in the 1950s, like it has actually increased marginally. That's not a sign that us entering the workforce suddenly made us
How
all
is
very
it a
happy.
cause of the workforce,
We're also binge drinking at a higher rate.
How's this
We're
cause
taking
of
opioids
entering
at a
the
higher rate.
How is this a cause of entering
Because
the
I
workforce?
think women are being
You think?
put on a pathway aspirationally.
But you're gonna have to. You're saying you think that.
I think a lot, like these two girls that write me saying they wish they had what I have. Yeah, it creates loneliness, especially with how the economy's going. They can't keep their head above the water. Like we're all getting lonely and lonelier. I'm married and I don't see my husband because he's always working. Can't imagine being single. When do you go dating? Like, this economy is making everything harder purposely. I think it's population control. And then, yeah, a woman working just as hard as men. Just think about it. It's so obvious. Like, their lives are being sucked away from them.
Right, but where's the cause? Like you're not substantiating the claim. You're saying this is what I think I'm seeing.
My colleague, female, she committed suicide last summer. She was alone. She had a breakup, and then she told my friend, because I was like, what the hell? We talked about it. She had bouts of depression, and she was alone. So,
Okay, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you so much.
Great job. Great job.
I love that. The handshake. I love that respect. That gives me total eye contact, and yeah, good debate.
Hello, hi.
Hi, I'm Nikki.
Nice to meet you.
So when we're talking about the value of women on a societal scale and how we view each other, right? When you're devaluing us, you're objectifying us. And follow me, I promise. But rape rates have gone down by about half in the last 20 years, right? So if you're saying we're less valuable now, why wouldn't we be suffering at a higher rate?
So is the argument that you're making, just so I understand, that because women are giving up sex for free, they're not being raped?
Every study shows rape is not correlated with just sexual gratification. It
Does
is
she-
a power.
Does she not hear that?
Structure.
Okay.
So it is about objectifying and abusing women when you rape them, not about whether or not you want sex. What I am saying is that women are less objectified, so therefore we are being raped less.
Okay, so you think that in today's society, because this is pretty wild for me. In the 1950s, you're saying women were more objectified than today in the land of OnlyFans, the Kardashian clan, and women that are essentially putting up their boobs and butts for free on Instagram. You're saying we finally have achieved.
And the thing is, it's everywhere. Back then, it was like Hush Hush, Playboy, House. Was that one of them? Like, you had to really dig for these things. And now, literally, internet access everywhere. It's just, I mean, they tried to stop it with all this woke advertising where everyone was like, nope, looking away, but then driving them to OnlyFans to really find their category that they're looking for. But this is wild.
Blessed objectification, where women can't even get onto an advertising. You can't even advertise a bag without them having to be naked in order for them to get a career as a model. You're saying, oh great, we've achieved actually less objectification.
So I'm not trying to
Have you seen music videos?
suggest that I think that the over-commodification of women's bodies is positive. But What I am saying is that when you're going to the 1950s, that we shouldn't put this glazed look of, oh, it was so happy. We had single income households and we got to stay home. We also had a pill popping problem. We also were viewed as maids. Like, we were seen as a house appliance far more than we were as people. And so when you have that kind of objectification where you are in a subservient position, I think we're facing a different form today, but I think that rape is a signifier of a contradiction to your statement.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense, but I do want to rebut it on a couple of points. So first, I just want to say, suggesting that objectification has gone downward since the 1950s is wild. That's just a firm no. That is not the truth, and you know that's not true.
Wait, so do you feel
But
like
hold on, let me answer your
like,
second thing.
I know that.
Second thing, you then brought up, okay, women were at home, but they were.
We're even like, wear whatever you want. We can literally wear, I mean, that is fashion now. You can wear a lingerie top with casual jeans these days. That's literally showing a guy, this is what I look like in bed. But I'm wearing it to go grocery shopping.
For pill popping. Well, you then have to acknowledge.
I'm gonna show you guys. Watch. Let's see. Oof. This, see you guys? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Anyways, back to business.
We're actually popping more pills now, right? So we have actually increased our amount of pill popping. Women are having overdoses on opioids. And on top of that, since I think 1999, by rate, we are increasing our opioid
Holy
use
crap.
compared to men. So women are not popping pills less because we're going into the workforce. That's actually not true at all either. We're also, like I said to you, consuming alcohol more and binge drinking more than we did in the 1950s, which is why I was trying to get her to say, we need to look at actually give me any reasonable metric of how we can define happiness. Because it's hard, right? Are you happy, yes or no?
Sure, but wait, hold on. We're actually avoiding.
When I lived in Dubai, all the guys knew. I would sit on the flights with cabin crew who were male in the dating scene actively, and they, one after another, would tell me, Dubai girls are so sad. They're all secretly depressed, and these are guys who are dating around. Like, because there was this freaking sexual revolution in Dubai. Hashtag my Dubai. It's a thing. And yeah, these guys would tell me the girls in Dubai are very sad. They're out partying, they're out hooking up with him, and maybe 3 dates in, and the true sadness surfaces.
What my original point was about rape being the signifier.
Okay, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Hi.
Hi.
I like your hat.
Whitney Shanahan.
Nice to meet you.
I find this shit so rude. If you're inside and now you're gonna sit in front of someone, take your hat off. I'm pretty sure guys who wear caps remove them when they sit for dinner. No? What happened to that?
I am fascinated by your claim that women have lost happiness since the sexual revolution, since the 1950s. Do you think that there's any tie to happiness and freedom and happiness and choice? Because since 1950s, since the sexual revolution, women have gotten exponentially more freedom.
Oh my god, she's so annoying. I'm sorry. This voice.
And more choice. And for me, as a mother and as a woman, having the freedom to choose what I do, to make my own destiny, makes me infinitely more happy.
Wrong, you have kids. Think about them before. It's not your choice. It's a choice that's going to affect your kids at this point.
Than say back before the sexual revolution when I couldn't get a bank account, couldn't get a home loan, couldn't work outside the home, couldn't travel around without a man.
Because he took care of it.
Couldn't control my own reproduction. So I feel that happiness, personally, my belief, is tied to our ability to have freedom. And I think that in the United States, protecting freedom and our...
You think that's freedom? I think freedom to me is not having to give a shit about this, not having to have a worry over it. He takes care of it behind the scenes. I just enjoy my coffee. I can go for a stroll, not knowing what the debt is, not knowing did he pay, like, I don't find that freedom. I think freedom is focusing on my hobbies. That's freedom.
Individual freedoms is what's going to lead us to happiness.
Did you go to college?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Did you?
Yes, I did. So you have a degree.
Absolutely.
Now, when you went
Absolutely. What? That's so condescending and such a, like, braggy tone. You don't need to sucker into college to be a brilliant mind. There are so many people too good for college. It's just to get a fucking paper and be qualified on paper. That shit just pissed me right off. And I went to college, so.
to college, did you go to college because it was simply something that you wanted to do, or did you think that...
Sorry, American Community College. In Canada, we have university and we have college. I would be equivalent to a community college because I wasn't going to spend another 4-5 years in university because I knew deep down inside I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't need all that added stress. I'm telling you, I listen to my gut and it leads me all the right ways. Knock on wood.
I have to go to college because in order to get a job, I have to have a college degree.
I went to college for art because I was fascinated with art.
Okay. It's just answering my question. Did you go to college?
Why the fuck would you need to go to college for art? I'm so sorry right now. This woman is just... My babies make amazing art without college.
Was that the only reason you went to college, or did you think that I might want to do something in art, so I have to go to college, like, for my career?
I went to school because I wanted to expand my horizons. I mean, I think that's why most people go to university.
Entrepreneur, you could do... There's people on Instagram that hacked it and sell their art without this BS. Oh my God, she's so brainwashed. Classic example. Thank you, lady. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking. This.
No, why did you go?
That's actually not true. I went, and I think a lot of people go because there's a pressure that if you don't go to college, you're going to be a failure.
It's a choice. Everything's a choice. So taking away choices does.
And I feel like art is like your last foot in. Like, I took cosmetology because that was the only thing that I cared to do in order to be in college. That's art. Face art.
Doesn't make people happier. Taking away freedom doesn't make people happier.
I'm disagreeing with you on the idea that people are feeling more free by financial pressure. I think financial pressure makes people feel remarkably less free.
So
art is free. You don't need to go to college. As a good artist, your brain can figure it out without college. She's such a contradiction, this woman. She's not art.
No bank accounts again, women not to have credit cards?
I'm not saying that women shouldn't have access to credit cards or banking accounts. You're putting words in my mouth, so why don't you respond to the words that
I don't think women should need to care about credit cards. If you're such a... Like, the guy is going to take care of you. And everyone's going to be like, but what if he leaves you? I think you're going to do everything right in order to get a guy that doesn't leave you. And I think divorce rates are higher than ever because people are MIA, missing. People have more window of opportunity to cheat. 1950s wasn't perfect. There were men still being scandalous with their secretaries, but it was not... It was a big thing. Like, it was a shock when this happened. Now it's like every other person, I got cheated on. It's like, oh yeah, that sucks, me too. Are you done your story so I can tell mine?
I'm saying.
Well, less financial pressure. If I don't have a bank account, that's a lot less financial pressure, I guess, right?
Financial pressure in terms of most people that go to college, and I'm counting myself among them, it's because typically, in order to get the job that you're being sold is going to make you infinitely happier and infinitely more free, it just requires a college degree. And most of these people, to be clear, have to put themselves, the majority of people have to put themselves into debt. And I don't think anybody would describe debt as a form of freedom, right? I don't think anybody would realistically say.
Let's get back to happiness. So we're here to talk about happiness and how the sexual revolution, and we're not talking about college debt.
I think it's important because we're talking about freedom. You just said that the reason why I feel happy is because I have more freedom. And I am saying that financial restraints and debt doesn't make people feel more free.
So
I'm not winning this conversation, so I'm gonna shut it down.
let's eliminate the debt. Let's eliminate college debt. Maybe we should have free college here in the U.S.
Can't eliminate debt unless you pay it back.
That sounds great. Great idea, Candace. I love that idea. All right.
Okay.
Love it. Woo! Champion for the people.
Girl. Very nice.
All right, return to your seat.
Surrounded is now a podcast. Available wherever you listen. Search Surrounded, plug in, and stay part of the conversation. Anywhere, anytime.
Did she really think she
What
won
if
that
you can
one?
create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
My second claim is that no career will give women as much joy and fulfillment as raising children.
Agreed. I was very depressed when I didn't have kids. Now I don't have a chance to be depressed. Like, there's just too much to fight for and be happy for. Like, I am finally living my life because I'm living with them, through them. They are my second go, and not the way people think, like, oh, I'm gonna make him play football because I never got that dream. No, like, I'm literally feeding off their happiness. When they're happy, oh my God, I'm so freaking happy. Oopsies.
Candace, how are you?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm John. Okay, so I feel like a lot of your arguments today are very rooted in a sort of old school perspective, I have to be honest. Like, I think, and I'm not trying to be insulting whatsoever, I feel as though most people would identify that claim as pretty extreme and pretty like...
Children are extreme?
Well, no, that women would get more happiness inherently from raising kids than having a job or deciding what they want to do with their lives.
Why is that? I'm just...
How is that extreme? We have a reproductive system. We get pregnant. It's literally what we're made for.
Just curious, why would having children, which is just a natural biological conclusion, be something that sounds extreme?
I just said inherently.
Well, inherently
That's the
extreme.
inherent expectation.
Yeah.
That's better for...
It's inherent because it's biological. So I think when we think about things that are inherent, I think biology is a good thing to start with, right? So biologically speaking, men and women come together, they form families, and that's the reason why you're sitting here. That's the reason that I'm sitting here, is because biology is inherent.
Well,
so
I was
saying it's just natural order that we're speaking about, right?
Okay, let's break it down. So why do you believe that? Why do you believe that?
Why do I believe that women...
Why do you inherently are happier? Yeah.
Okay, you keep stressing this word inherent. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think because it speaks to natural order, and every piece of life, I think, is enriched by children.
You don't think it's natural for women to get to decide what they want to do with their lives?
You can't have a conversation, I don't know if he has kids, with a guy who does not have kids. And Lord, if he has kids, I fucking feel bad for them. That's your dad? This is what he has to say about it? Yeah, this is what I mean by some people just don't want kids and they're not happy. And it was like a one-night stand gone bad. A bleep trophy, as you may.
I do not think that saying women can decide whether or not they want to go to work or have children is problematic. What I'm saying to you is that women will get the most fulfillment from having a family.
Because it's natural.
Yes.
It's natural, but also children are wonderful and beautiful
Yes.
and spiritually divine creatures. I mean, they're...
If you haven't had one, and if it wasn't all made intentionally, you won't get it. You just won't. You won't get it. There's no conversation here. Unless we've both had kids and we've experienced them, let's say even the same age. you won't have a conversation. It's just talking to a wall.
Amazing. There's everything about having a child. Yes, it's a lot of work. It's beautiful.
I hear that. Well,
Yeah.
Okay, what if there's a little girl?
She's an amazing mama. Oh my. Her kids are lucky to have her if she cherishes them this much. It's beautiful. In a world where kids are getting thrown into dumps, trash bins, like they did here in Calgary, Alberta. Now we have the baby box because of that incident. This is so beautiful.
Girl born, and it's her dream her entire life to be an author or to be, on TV or any of these things. And having children is very expensive. It takes a lot of time. So how is it better for that, and I understand this is hypothetical, but that hypothetical little girl to have children than to pursue these things that would make her happy as she gets older?
I just think that if she publishes the book and she has a child, she would agree with me that the child was more fulfilling and made her happy. That's what I'm happier than the book did, is what I'm saying. And I say this as a published author of a New York Times. I would choose my children over my best-selling book. And I was that little girl who had a dream that it would be really great if I could share my thoughts and ideas in a book. But it is utter insanity for me to reflect on that and say that I would have rather published Blackout than to have my 3 children.
But why is it rather? You see what I'm saying?
It's not rather. I'm just saying
Well, that's
that
your claim.
it
Your claim is that it's better.
It will be more fulfilled.
Right.
Yes.
So rather.
Well, if it's an either or, if you're saying it's an either or, I'm just saying that if these two things have happened in your life, the thing that will bring you more spiritual fulfillment will be children. And so women who are neglecting that,
no shit.
Neglecting the pathway to strive toward family because they think their career is going to hug them at night, or they think that when they're on their deathbed their career is going to come up next.
Lady Gaga filled everyone's minds with that BS quote, "Your career will never smack you in the face and say no the next morning." Yeah, it will. Why do you think we keep working? Because we're afraid to lose our jobs.
To them and say, "You were so great to me." I think that they've stepped into a delusion, and I'm hopeful that they wake up from it before it's too late.
All right, pause. Yeah. Sorry, you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Bye, idiot. No applause.
Hi.
Naima,
nice to meet you.
Okay, so currently, women make up about 47% of the workforce. If this were the case and that women were just inherently unhappy or unfulfilled working and would just prefer to be at home, why don't they?
Because we've made that, due to prior feminist waves, nearly impossible, because now, which I believe that the reason that the government wanted women to enter the workforce is because it gave them an opportunity to tax a household twice. And so this goes back to what I was saying, is that there's a lot of financial pressure that is being exerted on young women to enter the workforce, and they do so blindly under this illusion that somehow entering the workforce is going to make you more fulfilled.
Sorry, I feel smart. I never do.
Like getting yourself in.
The world makes me feel like I'm not smart.
To 6 figures of debt going to college, to then take on a career and be in debt and having to pay student loans while you make $35K is going to make you happier. And I'm saying that isn't actually true.
Okay, so I hear that.
Yeah.
At the same time, would you not agree that that women can both have a career and have children? I mean, you are actively doing that right now.
And I want to be very clear, because I am actively doing it right now. I would be someone that you would call an exception because I get to work from home. I get to wake up in the morning. I don't have a boss, right? I don't have to go into the office from 9 to 5. I get to then therefore spend the entire morning with my children.
So you're an exception, and the 47% of women that make up our labor force are also an exception?
No, the exact opposite. So I'm trying to make it more realistic, because I think it's really bad form when people who are able to stay at home, right, and are able to start working at 1:00 p.m. as I do after being around their children.
She can start whenever she wants. She just has to make sure it's done.
And the children are running around all day, will then preach to you that every woman can have this. That's not the reality. The reality is that the overwhelming majority of people are stuck.
All of us stay-at-home moms would love that. The ones that I know. We would love to stay at home and then just, because we have to keep a roof over our heads, log in and log out whenever we want, sufficient enough to keep that roof over our heads. Not have to worry about, oh my God, I can't be late. Oh my God, I have to drop my kids off somewhere and pay for that so someone else can raise my kids while I'm working so that I keep paying them to do that. And
behind a desk all day, and they're not happy, they're not doing work that gratifies them at all, and at the same time they're suspending
Well, that's just what career you've chosen, but I think that the issue
most
with
people work a 9 to 5. I think that's
okay,
reality,
yes, but
right?
if it's the job that is making them unhappy, then maybe they should have chosen a different career path and not the structure of the career itself. But my issue...
Do you guys think like piercings are kind of like a mutilation? Like, I'm not gonna listen to a girl who's self-mutilating her skin. Like, yeah, okay, I have a tattoo, but this is meaningful to me. But the piercing, I feel like when I see it, like, this person is not happy with themselves. To them, they're trying to find beauty with these piercings, which is not my type.
with this is that not only is it claiming that women can't both be mothers and have jobs.
And I'm not talking about cultural piercings. She's in North America. There are countries where this is a norm. Not talking about that.
Which we know to be true because millions of women do that. My mother does that. You are actively doing it right now. But it also is qualifying what every single woman in this country wants without any clear evidence. I mean, there's 169 million women in this country. How can you say that you know exactly what every woman secretly wants? Are you asking them?
That wasn't my claim that I secretly know what every single woman wants. I'm saying that if you measure up at the end of your life, what brought you more fulfillment, your career or a children, raising children in your family, we will discover that, and there actually have been studies, people that have gone to people on their deathbeds, and the number one regret that people had was that they gave too much to their careers. And this includes men, by the way.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, of course, human relation is going to be valued over money and profit.
So then
but
you
at
don't
the same time,
yeah, my husband, he hates going to work. He hates leaving my boys. He does not want to, look at that, Polish flag. He does not want to miss out. He feels like he's missing out. And I have to remind him daily, like, hey, you're providing for them. That's how you're here. But he hates it. He does not want to be away from the boys.
What
don't
is that
disagree
even?
with my arguments
I do
at all.
disagree with
You're
your
agreeing with
argument.
my
Yes,
argument.
humans prefer humans over a job, but that's not just singular to women. That's everyone. And my question is, what does that even have to, like, what is the goal of that? Should every woman quit working and just have a child?
Well, I'm just trying to warn you that if you decide to suspend that pursuit of family because you think that you have to first climb the ladder, a lot of women make that mistake and they don't end up finding a partner.
But that's their right. It's free will.
You
We
would
live in a
definitely
free
have a right to
country.
make a
You don't get to
mistake.
say what people should and shouldn't do.
I don't think my claim is this is what people should or should not do. I'm just simply stating that my claim is that you will be more fulfilled if you focus on
But you
trying
don't get to decide
build
what
a
other
family.
people are fulfilled by.
Okay, I'm making my claim here that women are infinitely more fulfilled in the household and raising children than they are taking that 9 to 5 job.
But you have no evidence of that. In fact, you are evidence against your own claim.
I'm not evidence against my own claim.
You are.
I'm saying
You're
that
here at work right now.
She's making money. She's providing for her baby. Like, that's what it comes down to. Don't be fooled that she's passionate to sit down in front of something like this and talk to it for 20 minutes. No, she needs to make that money.
I've literally said, I am telling you, women cannot have it all. That is an illusion, and that is an illusion that is stressing.
She's probably going to retire someday soon.
Women out, and I think it is the reason why so many women are turning to popping pills, why there's been such a significant, more than 1,000% increase since 1999.
But men can have it all. Men can be fathers and have a job, but women can't do that?
I don't think you can have it all.
It sounds like you're devaluing women. I think that women can do everything that a man can do, and men have done this historically throughout time and memoriam.
I think women is our debate topic today. So
women exist in a society with men. We are comparing
women are trying
men.
to be both women and.
I am not as strong as my husband. I can go to the gym with him every day, twice a day. I can eat the same food as him. He's still stronger than me. Even today, I was pushing the stroller and I was having a hard time going uphill and he just lightly just nudged me. And that made the world of a difference.
Men, and that is why women are unhappy today, is because actually what's quite ironic about the feminist movement is that
I think women are just trying to be people.
I think women have been taught that being a woman is not enough and that you have to also aspire to be a man. And that's the irony. It's like a psychological
And you know what? My husband cooks better than me.
conditioning. What feminists went out and did and said is that in order for women to have value, women need to be like men. And I'm saying
Candace,
that
so can I
actually women
propose a
and men are
hypothetical?
biologically different. There are differences in our behavior, there are differences in our desires, and I think evidence of the feminist movement, by the way, shows us that, because even when women enter into the college education space, the pathways of career that we choose are different from men because we're biologically different, right?
Okay, so let's say that this is true, that women truly are more fulfilled at home. Now, the average cost of raising a child a year is around $21,000 or more. So my issue is, are you saying that women should just suddenly stop working and now the onus is entirely on men? Like, the society that you're pitching is not sustainable economically.
And I think it was sustained economically.
But it's not right
All
now.
right, pause. Naima, you've been voted out by the majority. Please,
Is that the woman's fault? It's the government.
please return to your seat.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Hi.
Hi,
Ceci.
boy.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So your claim is that women will be happier at home. I think you're conflating, though, happiness with importance, because I get what you're saying, where a woman can write a book and have kids, but the kids are always going to make her happier. But I think it just means that kids are always going to be more important, not necessarily make you happier. But also, piggybacking on Naima, we don't live in an economy where people typically can have a one-income household,
right?
Whether it be the mom or dad that stays home. And so I think, and you keep bringing up
That's Ellie McClung's fault.
the 1950s, which
because it was right before the fact.
I just don't know if that's the period of time that you want to go back to.
No, it's just I'm just going back to the first wave of feminism.
But you want to undo progress that's been done. So I'm curious as to what decade you'd be comfortable living in, especially as a Black woman.
Okay, so we're gonna park aside the race politics because I want to focus on.
Okay, then as a woman, what period
I love Candace Owens.
of time do you want to go back to?
Just as a woman, I think that it was probably a better environment for women when we understood that raising our children was fulfilling.
But some women still do understand that.
Right.
And a lot of women
and I'm one of them.
And I'm here advocating for you to be able to live the life that you want and for other women to be able to live the lives they want.
Do you have children?
No.
Okay. You have a career, I presume?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you work at? What field do you work in?
Conversation ends here, man. You're not going to convince a woman without kids anything.
I do hair.
Okay, wonderful. So I have both children and a career, as somebody pointed out. And so the fact that I'm saying
I wouldn't let her do my hair, that's for sure.
That you will be infinitely more fulfilled at the end of the day by raising your children than you will be if you come home and you say, wow, I really crushed it dyeing somebody's hair today. What is it exactly that makes you angry about hearing that? Like, that's what I'm actually trying.
Nothing makes
I'm
me
trying
angry.
to get.
No,
I'm
that's
trying to
just
get
it.
to
You know
the.
what,
I'm
Kat,
trying
no,
to get.
Do you know how much alcohol abuse there is in hairstyling and how unhappy hairstylists are? The young ones that just start out, they're not happy.
That's the implicit revolution.
A lot of them have dating problems with dating. Yeah, they have the most to share with their clients.
The thing is that no one
when
is
someone
angry.
mentions children.
No, see, no one's angry when you mention children. I get angry, I guess, when you mention that someone should have a children, or you're trying to impose a lifestyle onto people that you want to live, which
I don't think she's imposing, she's influencing. And she's trying to get people to wake up. Like, we have forgotten that this is such an easy fix to our very lonely, sad. Like, a lot of girls are so sad. And this is coming from guys who are sleeping with girls and going on few dates with them. It's not coming from me. I'm hearing it from guys who experienced all the sad girls in Dubai. Okay? The party girls. They're sad. The girl that committed suicide at my workplace was a party girl. And then one day, she just couldn't like escape her loneliness. And I think how I'm interpreting this, Candace is trying to influence and remind us there is such an easy fix to this. Put the drugs down, put the alcohol down, put the pills down, put the internet down. And what's sad is a lot of women can't do this because of the taxes they have to pay, the work they have to go to every day. It's all distracting them and making them stay single for way longer. And then they get to an age where their standards are just unrealistic and they get lonelier. There are so, like, even my family friend in Poland, God forbid she sees this. I mean, she's better in English, but yeah, she's like in her mid-40s. And growing up, she's always been with a man, but it never lasted. And she was like a very traditional girl, wanted the family, wanted the kids. It did not work out for her, but she's really successful at work.
I think it's kind of funny because as someone who's anti-feminism, you practice it more than most women do. I mean, every time you get on your podcast, every time you collect a check, you're practicing feminism.
Okay, that's what you think.
No, that's what it is. Because
Actually,
without feminism, you wouldn't be able to exist.
Yeah, people keep saying, I hate when people say that.
I wouldn't have to do this shit if my man was paid twice as much like he should be. I don't know. I don't know what these people don't get. I don't understand how they don't think what I have is actual absolute freedom. Like, my mind is free. I don't have to punch in anywhere. I don't have to talk to a customer that I don't want to today and bring on this facade that I give a shit. And actually, I fool myself into thinking I care because I'm a good human, actually. So because I'm a good human, I do get very involved with this emotionally, and then that's draining me from my emotions. So when I come home to my dog, I don't even have it in me to be this enthusiastic, happy human being to my dog. This is prior to kids. Even my husband, who's working, he does everything he can to spend those last few minutes before his nap, before his next shift. I call it a nap because sometimes it's only 4 hours, to spend with his kids. But it's like brain fog. He just sits there sometimes and I have to be like, can you be proactive? And that's asking a lot because I forget how it is in the actual work world. I have absolute freedom. I get to decide when we eat, when we go for, there's no dog around, for the walks, when I can go sit in my car, which he provides. He suffers a lot to provide that because we're not anyone rich. We're being taxed up the ass in Canada. But I feel the most free I've ever felt in my life. And tell me how I'm not free. If you're a feminist watching this, tell me what's not free in my life. Okay, he leaves me. Then I go to work and my freedom's gone.
But it's just the truth. It just shows that you haven't done the research to even understand where the feminism
or you don't know
came from,
history,
which was discoverable. That's what I'm saying about you, because it means that you don't understand that a bunch of government officials in the CIA funded the feminist movement. So for all of your hatred for the patriarchy,
I'm so confused.
And
so my question
men,
is it bad that they funded it or bad that it just happened?
Men wanted women to go into the workforce. The government, which had a lot of men, it was being.
Are you talking about because World War II occurred and we had to go to factories, and then when we left the factories, they forced us back into the homes?
That's not what I'm saying at all. So let me tell you what I'm saying, and then you can respond to it.
Go for it.
Gloria Steinem is considered to be a feminist icon, right? Because she led these protests. She also had a bunch of music festivals. She got students involved. It is just a fact that Gloria Steinem was funded by the CIA, okay? The CIA being the male-dominated CIA.
See, I thought this was a conspiracy that I made up, but holy crap. I love you, gut. My gut is always right.
Of the 50s and the 60s funded those movements. So what
gut.
do you think was the explicit aim? Do you think it was because the government really wanted you to be more free, that they
don't give a shit about who in this? If you still think the government gives a shit about you, you're retarded.
To encourage women to enter.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I couldn't speak on behalf of the government.
Okay.
You know what I mean, and what their intention.
Well, I think it's important because you
with
just said that I don't know history, and I think it's pretty important if you're going to sit across from me and say I don't know history, that you learn a piece of history and then question. As
you keep bringing up men, and I think it's funny because we should talk about men more. Like you brought up suicide, they're 4 times more likely to kill themselves.
Which is why I don't.
And while women, we're twice as more often on antidepressants, but that's because we go out and do what we need to do to keep coping.
Because we're not happy.
And we need to focus on men and the patriarchy because it's actually oppressed them just as much as women now emotionally, right? Because when we're kids, our parents teach us how to cross the street. Look both ways so you can get the other side unharmed. When a boy comes across a feeling, and I'm using men and boys here because they're the ones suffering, women are too, but emotionally. When they come across a feeling they haven't felt before, we have to teach them how to get to the other side and cope with it. Otherwise, they stay where they are. That anger and resentment builds. That's the feeling they become most comfortable with. That's the feeling they go to first in most situations.
Right,
so we need to stop telling our boys that they don't cry, because they do. They just do it alone, and then they become even more alone.
Rude.
We live in strange times.
All right. Jasmine, nice to meet you. Okay, so you say that women are more fulfilled at home with kids than going out into the workforce or getting educated, but that just really doesn't bear out when you look at the stats, when you look at how working mothers are way less likely to be in poverty. Maternal education is the #1 predictor of childhood outcomes, better scores, getting higher incomes in the future, fewer behavioral problems, better mental health. So it's weird to me and college-educated women are least likely to get divorced, and they're the only women, the top 10% of women are the only women whose marriage rates are going up. So they're getting married, they're staying married, and their kids are doing better. When you look at stay-at-home mothers, you see that they're more likely to report being depressed, they're more likely to report having anxiety and anger and all these types of things. So how can you say that? Seems like a woman...
Actually, anger, but I've had anger because I'm Polish. Born and raised with anger, like a bull. But I've never been happier in my life. This is not speaking for me.
I mean, if you want to get married and have kids, you should go to college and have a career.
So it sounds to me like we are looking at totally different statistics, because everything that you said, I've actually read the exact opposite.
I'm glad we're on a fact check show with you.
Right, exactly.
Oh, it's so exciting.
That's going to be amazing. Okay, because I know, like I said, I think what we're
Rude.
talking about is that there was this widespread report on female happiness, and I know that it was formally debunked, and it was
That's not what I'm talking about. Pew Research,
Right.
University of
Okay.
California. In fact, working mothers today spend more time with their children than women did in the 1960s that were at home.
Okay, well, women that are at home are obviously spending more time with their children.
1960s, ma'am? Do you know the technology you literally have a piece of technology for anything you need as a modern day stay-at-home mother. It cuts time in half. A microwave to microwave their milk. Like, do you understand that the mothers back then had to literally go to a water barrel to do laundry and then do that crazy shit? I don't even know what it's called because it's before my time. They had to walk places, ride horses places. What else? They freaking made food from scratch. Like, the kitchen was consuming them, but they did it to keep the house operation going. And you know what? Kids were involved in this. They were working with the moms. Like, even in this day and age, there are countries like in South America where the kid will not have toys, but they'll come and like squash pita bread or something into its shape. Okay, make a little mess of it and then go on with their day. But they participate. They're doing exactly what was happening back then. The mom stays in the kitchen, but she was present. The baby always has that like tether to come back to. Like, they tether back to the mom because she's there. If she's not in the room,
children than the people who are at work.
And their
today.
children are not faring off any better, and they're faring off worse.
How are you measuring their children faring off worse?
How likely they are to higher incomes, better scores, fewer health problems, fewer behavioral issues, and better mental.
So the just to get back to the claim that I'm making here is that it is obvious that women who have children are going to be more fulfilled.
How is
right?
that obvious? Because you said so?
No, you just said it. Get a job.
No, it's not obvious because I said so. It's because when you look at all the statistics in terms of women who are choosing not to have families, they are, as the person who just sat here before.
She just said, get a job and then have kids. Like, you need a job to be happy to have kids. She literally said that, no? This girl.
You mentioned, they are.
So she included the kids. She didn't say just live by career.
Suffering from more depression, they're suffering from more anxiety, and
that's not true.
Okay, it is true. It is actually true that women who are choosing their careers over starting families are finding themselves leaning more onto medicines like Xanax, anxiety-inducing medicines, and depression because they suspended that time frame where women really should be looking to find a partner and to start a family because they were instead pursuing their careers.
And why are they better off?
It is a dishonest, it is totally a dishonest narrative that men and women want the same things out of life. We don't. We absolutely do not want the same things out of life. In fact, we don't even measure success the same.
Who's that
Men
guy?
and women don't even measure success the same.
So,
okay?
but tell me how the women who are working and getting educated, why are they faring off better in all of these?
I am telling you that I do not believe they are faring off better in all of these measures.
Because of what?
I am telling you that we are looking at totally opposite statistics. Like, so you're sitting here telling me that the statistics show that women who are working are producing better children, but I am saying that women that grow up in a two-family home where the mother stays at home are faring off better than the children who are being raised in an environment
where the women are working,
where both of the parents are
why don't
working
you
away
stay
from the
home?
home. I do get to work from home.
No, but
that's the irony.
I've watched your show. You talk about all the nannies you hire, and it's so hard to find a good nanny.
I never talked about all of the nannies I hire, but
you have.
I spoke about how difficult it was to find a babysitter who knew how to cook a meal, and that's because
you don't need a babysitter. You're already. You could retire right now.
You have to let people respond to you when they're speaking.
You don't want to.
She obviously doesn't have a kid and doesn't understand how that works. Like, if she's even working at home, like my husband right now is with my babies. I started this when they were on a nap, and I'm like, hey, if I don't finish, can you go to them? And it's killing me hearing them. I'm like fear of missing out right now. It's hard, but I would do this normally when they go to bed at night. But tonight, I want to go to bed early. So this is a treat from him for me, okay?
Respond to you?
Because yes, other than him, I don't have anyone else.
No, you don't want to. You want to be working, which is great.
You're telling me what I want now and then accusing me of telling you.
Wait, you don't want to work?
Can you just let me finish? Because you've said so many words that what you're trying to
I don't think she wants to work.
Do here, like your arguments.
I'm sorry, but like who wants to work? Unless it's art. And you get to draw out your emotions, and it's such brainwash, all of this. Hogwash.
Style is I'm going to say so much, not let her get a word in, and then walk away and feel like I've won. We're not having a conversation.
Why do we work? To make money. That's what Candace is doing. It's supporting her family. I don't know, maybe her husband's not making as much as she is. I don't know who he is. He's an author, but I don't know anything else. She's showing up so she can make an easier life for her kids. Maybe even have more kids. She's trapped.
Because you've not letting me respond to even one of your points. Okay. What I am saying to you, first to answer what you just said, which was a lie, what I spoke to you about on the weekends is that it's been increasingly difficult to find a 25-year-old who even knows how to make boxed macaroni and cheese, right? And that's crazy. That is in large part due to feminism. Women don't even focus. Like there's this idea that women shouldn't be cooking. Like there's something fundamentally wrong with women even learning how to cook.
Are you
know what I mean?
spending as much time with your children as you possibly can? Because that's the way to get the most fulfillment.
No, and that's what I'm trying to say. I am speaking to you
then stop.
Okay, could you please let somebody get in
I
a
did.
word edgewise?
I let you finish.
You're not. You
I
actually
did.
have not let anybody finish. And like I said,
absolutely have.
it's no one benefits when you're just speaking over me and not allowing me to respond. All you're proving is that you haven't.
Her even saying I have is talking over her and not just shutting her up and taking her time.
Attitude, and you
Okay,
believe
can you
in
address the
feminism,
point now?
but you're not. See, that's what I'm saying. You just have an attitude, and it's not cute. It's performative.
I'd love if
I'm
you
actually
address my point. I will be quiet if you address my point.
Does anybody actually feel here that I am being allowed to address any of her points when she just keeps running over me? Like, I'm literally trying to answer your first point of you saying that I don't stay at home.
Yeah,
fair
that was
point.
really weird. Yeah.
Fair point. Obviously, I get that you're all anti-Candace and pro-feminist, but also it's not productive if you're not actually.
Okay, address the point. You spend more time saying that I'm not addressing, that you don't have a chance to talk. When the whole time you could have addressed the point.
Okay.
You could have talked.
I
go for it.
Just want
fucking moron.
you to know that you're not coming across as somebody who wants to actually have a conversation. So to get back to the claim, because I don't even know where you're at. You're now talking. You're saying that I said stuff in my podcast.
I'll go wherever you want to go.
I never said.
I'll go wherever.
So do you want to start with me working at home? Because I work at home. You just said something about me working
You
at
travel
home.
all around the world.
Okay,
you do speeches, and I love that. I love how ambitious you are. That's a really great trait. And if you were truly said that, you would be more fulfilled. Now, one thing you do find is women, they don't want to stay at home when you pull them. They just want flexible working hours and flexible working conditions like you have. And I think we should all advocate for that. It's not one or the other. But when you sit here and you go,
I don't want to work. Not another day.
you'll be more fulfilled doing this and spend all your time doing that. We would love for you to leave the public eye and go focus on what makes you fulfilled.
Okay.
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video. Straight Arrow News is on a mission to raise.
We live under a matriarchy, not a patriarchy.
Celebrity cruises. Nothing comes close.
Hi, hello.
Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Princella, the Queen Maker.
Love that.
So you say we live in a matriarchy.
Right.
Can you give me the definition of patriarchy?
Yes. Well, the patriarchy is the idea that the system, our system in America, is being run by men, and that women are having to exist under a system that immediately disadvantages them because men are behind it. And I disagree with that pointedly. I think actually we're living in a society where people are being very much influenced socially and politically by women.
Okay, so the denotative definition of patriarchy is father rule, and where positions of government are held majorly by men, where women are largely excluded. So 125 House of Representatives are female, and that's only about 25%.
Right.
And only about 28% make up Senate, and 3.3% of Congress up until this date have ever been women. So by denotative definition, we literally live in a patriarchy.
Yes, so I disagree with that. So I think what this gets to, which is actually an important part of the conversation, is that people always think that where there is disparity, there's somehow inequality, and I actually reject that entirely. I think it's just a difference in what we're interested in. I think we're biologically wired, we're interested in different careers, and just because if we looked in the fashion industry and said, oh, well, it's being dominated by women, it wouldn't mean that, okay, well, that means that the fashion industry is a matriarchy and men have no sense. It just means have no ability to communicate how they feel in the fashion industry. I literally think that those numbers show that we're just biologically different. So I actually think politically, women have shown that they have a lot more power than men have. And I'm talking about just in terms of political movements. The most recent I can think of is the Me Too movement, right? If a bunch of women get together and complain about a man and refer to the patriarchy and scream, generally speaking, and let me know if you agree, the media will celebrate that. If a bunch of men got together and were shrieking and speaking about women, generally speaking, the media would call them all white supremacists and say that we had a misogyny problem and that things were really wrong in society. Women are allowed to be more vocal in general about problems than men are.
Well, let me speak to that. When we're talking about government and media, these are two different things. So under the denotative definition of a patriarchy, by the percentages that are occupied in the government, which is majority male, defines us as a patriarchy. Now, when it comes to for capitalism, for marketing purposes and control, for capital and revenue, that is a totally different conversation. But who's making the laws? I don't think.
There's no way I could finish this. I don't even think I react that much, that often. I really tried to let it play, but I only managed to get through 45 minutes. Oh, it's not showing you here. Darn it. 45 minutes and 50 seconds. It's a almost 2-hour video. I guess I'm almost halfway. Yeah, obviously math. Duh. Yeah. So that's it for Candace Owens versus 20 Feminists. Comment if you agree with me, disagree with me, can educate me on something that I'm missing in this picture. As a conclusion, stay-at-home mom of 2 twin boys. I love it. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Literally all I have ever wanted. And I'm so grateful that I got it because I didn't think it was in my cards at one point. Thank you, husband, for making that possible, for falling in love with me and wanting to make me the mother of your kids. So thank you for that, honey bunny. Yeah, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd ever get any of this. And it's true, I found him at work, but it was a job that I found for pleasure. So I was a flight attendant in Dubai. I wanted to live in Dubai, so I got the job as a flight attendant. I wanted to see the whole world, so I became a flight attendant. I wanted to move countries because Canada wasn't working for me. I was single, and the men here did not want me. So I took my chance to move out there, do something out of my norm. I was deathly afraid of flying. I hated flying. Like, hold the rosary, stare at the freaking earth from up above and pray we're gonna land the whole time. Kind of scared. If I can drive there, I will drive there for 2 years just to make it without flying. And then one day it clicked. Let me try something I would never do. And that's where I found my husband, on a flight. So, in that sense, I'm thankful for having that job. But that's the only reason, really, that I got it, was for pleasure, meeting my future husband. Yeah. And the reason why I wasn't getting any men in Canada is because I was always working. And I was working in a female-dominant workplace, hairstyling. So, and my clients were all female. And the ones that were male were married or had girlfriends. So, yeah, I could not be happier as a stay-at-home mom, married, and doing my mom duties, wife duties. It's the best job in the world. I was never happier. It's a job that there's no other job that I wanted more than this one. And yeah, I'm just glad it worked out in my favor, and I wish it for anyone. And I hope a lot more women wake up before it's too late, because there are a lot of sad women and a lot of sad guys. We're not communicating with each other. It's all games. It's all calculated. And I think it's like more survival mode now too. So it's just too much pressure. Everyone's under too much pressure. See you next week.